Hello friends, welcome back to Primo ICT Lectures channel. I'm Oscar, ICT Facilitator. In this video, we are going to discuss about computer hardware, including definition, categories, examples, and functions. Are you ICT trainer, learner? Do you want to level up your ICT knowledge and skills? This video is yours. Let's jump right in. What is a computer hardware? A computer hardware means any physical component of computer. This means that it's a part of computer that you can see and touch on it. So it's a tangible part of computer like keyboard, monitor, CD, and so on. So in this lesson, we are going to categorize computer hardware into three main categories, including computer peripherals, processing devices, and storage devices. Let's start by computer peripherals. As you see from a computer or just a system unit, there are some ports. The ports are the holes or just the interface which are available on a computer system unit where we can plug some external devices. So computer peripherals are devices which can be connected externally through the ports to the system unit. So we have two main categories of computer peripherals, which are input devices and output devices that we are going to discuss about in detail. Let's start by input devices. So here we have the verb to input, which means to send something inside. So input device, in a few words, is any device or just any computer peripheral that can be used to send or to enter data inside the computer. So we have various categories of input devices like keying devices, pointing devices, scanning devices, and voice input devices. Let's discuss about each category. So keying devices, here we have the word a key. Remember that a computer has an input device which is used to send letters, numbers, and symbols. This input device is known as a keyboard. So a keyboard has what we call keys, or just the buttons containing the numbers, the symbols, and the letters. So a keying device is any computer input device which is used to enter letter, numbers, and the symbols. We have examples. We can mention a keyboard and a keypad. So let's continue with pointing devices. A pointing device is an input device used to control the movement of mouse cursor or mouse pointer on the computer screen. We can mention some examples, including mouse. Mouse is an input device which has two buttons, the right button and the left button, used to send input into the computer. And we can talk about the trackball, joystick, which is used to play the games. Joystick is an input device used to play the games. Touch screen, which is just a technology found from smartphone and the tablets, where the screens are sensible. When the user touch on them, they perform the actions. We can talk about the light pens, They are the small pens which are used to input data into the computer. And also a touchpad is an input device which is commonly found from a laptop, where the user touch on it to control the movement of mouse pointer or mouse cursor. What about scanning devices? So there are some devices which are used to convert hard copy information into soft copy information. So what about hard copy information? Is any kind of information which is printed out on the paper. So once you have a photo already printed on a paper, you can put it inside the scanner, and the scanner copies a photo from the paper and store it as a binary information into the computer. So a scanning device is an input device which converts the information from the paper and keep it permanently into the computer as binary information or just a digital information. This is the main role of a scanner. What about voice input devices? So a person's voice should be entered into a computer for processing. For example, the singers, after making or just creating a song in the studio, their voices should be converted. So there is an input device which is used to send someone's voice into the computer for processing, which is known as a microphone. On the computer system, there is a port where you can plug a microphone connector so that you can enter your voice into a computer for processing. So now let's discuss about output devices. So output is an opposite to input. Input means entering or sending data into a computer, whereas output means displaying information from the computer. Remembering that a computer is like a factory, because a computer takes data from a user or environment. It converts or just processes data into information. Information by definition is referred to meaningful data or processed data. So output device, after processing, displays or just shows or just produces or just put out information outside the computer so that the user should catch information from the computer. Here we can mention printers. So a printer is a device which is opposite to a scanner. Remember that a scanner is an input device used to convert hard copy information or just information which is on papers into digital information or binary information to be stored and processed by the computer. So what about a scanner? Once we have soft copy or just information which is stored into a computer, we can print it out on the paper. So a printer is a device which is used to convert soft copy information into hard copy information. We can talk about headphones or just earphones, the devices which are used to emit the sound from a computer to someone. We can also mention speakers and a plotter, which is like a big printer used to print very big papers. A monitor is a computer output device which displays information from a computer like image, text, videos, and so on. We can talk about also a projector, which is a famous output device. I hope that many people nowadays are familiar with a projector because it's an output device which projects information further from the computer screen on the wall, on the wall. So There are so many output devices. If you remember some of them, don't hesitate. Drop them into the comment section. Now let's talk about the second categories of hardware, which is processing devices. Remember that by definition, a computer takes data from someone, or just from different sources, and processes or just transforms the data into information. So there is a device or just a hardware which is like the brain of computer, used to process data into meaningful data or just information. That device is known as a processor, and it is commonly referred as a central processing unit or a CPU at microcomputers. We have the time to discuss about computer families, including microcomputers or personal computers, which is a family of computers having small devices. So a processor is like the brain of computer. It's just a computer hardware which is used to execute instructions or just to convert data into information. To display information, as I have told you earlier. So these are the main parts of a computer processor that we are going to discuss about later. So now let's start by arithmetic and logic unit. As the name suggests, we have the word or just the adjective arithmetic, which is about mathematics. So a computer should perform mathematical operations like addition, division, multiplication, subtraction, and so on. So the part of a processor which is known as the arithmetic and logic unit is the one which performs mathematical or just arithmetic operations. Another function of arithmetic and logic unit is just to perform logical operations like logical OR, logical AND, and logical NOT. So what about the control unit? Remember that a computer has computer peripherals or just other components of computers which are either housed by the computer system unit or computer case like a random access memory, motherboard, and so on. So control unit is a part of processor which controls and supervises the activities of other computer hardware, including the activities of a processor. What about memory units or registers? Remember that a processor converts data into information. And remember that data is entered into the computer by using input devices. So when the processor is busy, it can store data for a short period of time in short-term memories known as registers. So registers are temporary memories or just storage locations which are inside the CPU to store data or instruction or just information awaiting processing or just output devices. Let's discuss about the types of registers. So here we can say instruction register, which is a register used to store instruction before they are converted into the language that the computer should understand. Another type of register is the address register, which is used to store instructions address. Remember that a computer has a set of instructions which are executed to help the user accomplish the specific task or just to help the computer hardware to function. So instructions, as there are so many, they have addresses that the CPU will use to fetch them from computer memory. So the addresses of instructions are temporarily stored into address register, as I have told you. We have also accumulator register, which holds the last processing step of the arithmetic logic unit. And we can talk about also storage register. As the name suggests, this is a register used to hold information waiting to be output. Remember that after processing, a computer has to use the output device to show information. So when the output device to show such kind of information is busy, is not available right at that moment, the storage register will restore it for a short time to waiting for an output device to be ready and display such information. Are you still together with me? Let's continue this lesson. Now, let's talk about storage devices. To store means to keep something somewhere. So a computer has some computer components or just a hardware which are used to store data or information, either for a long time or for a short time. So we can classify or just divide the computer storage devices or computer memories into three main categories, namely primary memory, secondary memory, also known as mass storage, and tertiary storage. Let's discuss about each category of storage devices in detail. So what about the primary memory? A primary memory is a memory which is directly accessed by the processor. So we have two types of primary memories. We have RAM, which means random access memory, and ROM, meaning read-only memory. These are two types of memory which are directly accessed by a computer processor. Let's discuss about the characteristics for each in detail. So what about the random access memory? As the name suggests, random access memory is a memory which is volatile memory. What does it mean? It's just a working memory because it keeps or stores information when the computer is working. It's a working memory and it is volatile in the way that the contents of RAM disappears when you switch off a computer, or for example when you are using a computer which does not have a battery, or just a computer with the battery which is not electrically charged. When the computer shuts down, immediately the content of RAM will disappear. So it's the reason why it is called volatile memory. And also it's a short-term memory. It stores information while the computer is working or while the computer is switched on. And also this is the memory which stores the programs which are running, and the running program is known as a process. Let's discuss about ROM. ROM means read-only memory. It's a memory whose content is invariable. It's a memory which is not volatile, which means that it's a long-term memory. Its content can't be modified, and also its content does not disappear when the computer is switched off. But it is regarded as a primary memory or just a primary memory because it is directly accessed by the computer processor or central processing unit. So if you have opinions about primary memory, or if there are some other examples of primary memories, drop them into the comment section. I will read your comments. Now let's discuss about secondary memory or mass storage or just mass memory. These are the computer memories or just the storage devices which should store information for a long time and which are not directly accessed by the processor. So their content must be loaded into the RAM so that the processor should work on them. So we have two types, including removable storage media or just removable storage devices. These are the storage devices which should be connected to the computer through the ports, as I have told you. Here we can talk about CD, DVD disk, Jazzy disk, zip disk, floppy disk, memory card, flash disk, and so on. CD means compact disk, and DVD means digital versatile disk. So let's continue discussing about removable storage devices. So now let's talk about fixed storage devices, which are the storage devices which are fixed inside the computer case that you can take from one place to another, as it's the same as removable storage devices. Here we can talk about hard disk, which is also known as hard disk drive. It's a storage device which keeps all the information of a computer, but it is housed inside a computer system unit. So it's fixed because it's just mounted on a computer motherboard. A computer motherboard is the main component of a computer. It's just internal, you can't see it outside, but it's the main component because all internal components of computer are mounted and communicated with. So a motherboard is like the heart of computer. We will talk about motherboard and the types of motherboards in other video. Now, the last category is about tertiary storage. So the main purpose of this storage is to store a large amount of information or large amount of data. So, but this technology of storing huge information uses some optical like jukeboxes and tape libraries, and these storage devices require a database to organize the data and store in them. So thank you for being together with me in this video. I hope that you have learned so much more about computer hardware. If you find this video helpful and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, don't hesitate. Subscribe and tap on bell icon so that you should get a notification each time I upload a new video. And also, I need your support while sharing my video to the rest of the world. In order, you should share it to among your friends and give some comments. If you want me to discuss about another interesting lesson about computers, I am here as computer scientist because I'm a graduate in computer science. Drop it in the comment section. Thank you for watching my video again. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.